Okay, we're going to pick up where we left off from last night, and essentially we have all of our pattern pieces now cut out and marked. We got 3 different types. This right here is going to be mesh, which is going to be on the inside of the ear to allow for more ventilation. So I'm going to have 2 of these pieces cut out on fabric. A pile of pattern pieces for white fur and a pile of pattern pieces for black fur. This is a Malamute. I'm going to make it white and black color. And most of these pieces for the white are just for the very front of the face and for the inside of the ear. They could be anything from 2 pieces to pieces that are going to be actually flipped over on themselves. So this pretty much pile is going to be doubled its amount in fur. I'm using only long fur for this entire mask, for the black and the white. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shave down the pieces that need to be shorter, which is going to be all along the muzzle area here, very front of the chin, eyebrow ridges, and I'm going to stop right here and allow the fur to stay long. And this is just a basic trimming. It's nothing fancy. You're just trying to get the fur pile down a little bit so it makes it easier to sew. I'm also going to be installing a hidden zipper on this mask, so I'll be showing you also how I'm going to do my zipper. I may or may not be able to get done during this particular stream, but I'm going to try. So the first things you're going to need, you've got your pattern pieces, you've got your mask. Very important, have a slicker brush, because you want to brush the fur out. You're going to want to brush the fur pile away from your seams as you're sewing. Pins, or pinning all your pieces together. I prefer using silver Sharpie marker because this works great on dark and light colors. You can also, if you want to, you can use one of those fabric pencils if you want to. I haven't had any problems with Sharpies ever bleeding on my furs, but this is what I like to use. And a box cutter. So whenever you're actually cutting out your pattern pieces, you don't want to use a pair of scissors because you do not want to cut the actual fur pile. It's very important. Use a box cutter so you're only cutting that back layer of the fabric and you're just pulling it apart, and so you're not cutting the fur. That's pretty much the only tools you're going to need right now for this tutorial. We'll get into more stuff whenever I start sewing. But my 2 pieces of fur I have, I'm going to start with the white. This is I'm Stuffed Fox Fur. This is a 3-inch pile double coat fur with coarse hairs and guard hairs and undercoat. So it's very, very full, very fluffy. I'm going to move the head out of the way because we're not going to need that right now. Move the black pieces out of the way. As stated in my other tutorial, my pattern pieces tell me where they're located, how many I need to draw out, and the fur direction. So looking at this fur, it's got lines going down as the fabric's been made, and the fur's going this direction. So I need all my pattern pieces' arrows facing in that direction. What I always do is I take a pattern. If I know I need 2 pieces, I draw it, and I flip it, and I draw it again, and then I move the pattern aside saying that I'm done with it. I don't go putting... Some people like just filling all their pattern pieces on like this, one by one. That works for some people. I find that more than once I actually forget some pieces to double them or flip them, so I'd much rather just do 1 piece at a time and be like, okay, I'm done with that piece, I know I've got the correct number. I do my larger pieces first. So now I got my chest piece here, needs to be flipped. This needs to be flipped. Essentially anything needs to be flipped, I grab first. I know they're going to take the most amount of fabric. Flipped. And that's it. Everything else here, I need to do 2 pieces of each. So this first piece here is for the muzzle. You can see I have flip right here. So I'll quite literally take this piece and just flip it. So it's 1 big piece. And the fur direction is going this way. Some people like pinning them down. If I can find I can hold it down with one hand, then I'll just hold it down with one hand. And I see this pattern's got a lot of darts in it, so I'm making sure that I'm drawing out all those dart pieces that will need to be sewn. And also, it's very important, I've got these little marks here. These little blue marks. These marks are made so I can make sure that my pieces of fur are going to line up together. They're kind of like little stopper points saying, okay, this needs to match up with the other lines on the other piece of fabric. Especially important around curves, because you will have to tuck and stretch fabric in order to get around those curves. So you gotta make sure you mark that. Put little lines. I'm going to label as muzzle. I'm going to flip it, matching it up with that line. Okay, so since I know I flipped this piece, it is done. I'm going to set it aside, pull it separate from other patterns. And this one's the chest. It also has 3 hash marks under it. It's got 2 hash marks on the side, which I did not notice before. I'll flip it back over here and write this down. This one here is a chest. I'll label it as chest. And that one's done. I leave about at least a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I'll take the box cutter and I'll cut at least a 1/4 inch away. 1/4 or 1/2 inch. He's got hash marks too. This one here, nose. Well, if a box cutter is difficult for you, you can also cut with an X-Acto knife. I don't know if that would make a difference or not for you. This one here is a neck. Okay, so I got all my flippy patterns done. Now I'm going to move on to my doubles. And again, very important that you follow the fur direction. Inner ear. inner ear is done. I'm going to possibly flip this pattern. I can actually flip this one. Chin. And for this area I want long. So I want this area long, and I want to shave this down. And pretty much your goal is to take these pattern pieces and you want to fill in as many gaps as possible. You don't want to have like huge pieces of fur just left in these big old chunks. If you only have a little bit of scraps left, then you did a good job. Brow. I did this one, I'm going to flip it. That's done. Last piece of white. Make a spot for this one. And again, a little long fur here, the cheek. Okay, all the white is done. I'm going to sit here and cut all these pieces out. Easiest way to do this is start from the top and take the big chunk off the small stuff. I'm just very lightly just cutting the back. You can even just hold the fabric like this and just cut it apart. You never want to cut hard on the table because then you risk a chance of cutting the back of the fabric. So if you find it easier, just pick up the fabric, grab the two pieces, and just guide your knife. This blade's actually a little dull. You can fresh blade on here. It'll be a lot easier. This will cut like butter. But it'll do just fine, just for getting this little piece off this big piece. This is why I like break-off blade box cutters, because you can constantly just keep breaking the blades off when they get dull. I think this entire blade is actually dull. There we go. Now here's all the pieces. I'm going to try to see about breaking this off and see if it'll be sharper. If not, I gotta replace the blade. I prefer using a pair of pliers while doing this because it keeps your blade from like taking off somewhere unknown. Let's see. Yeah, that's better. Like I said, I only leave about a 1/4 inch extra on my pattern pieces. If you're not comfortable with that, go ahead with a 1/2 inch if you like. Perfectly fine. I find 1/4 inch is a lot easier, especially when you have like really curved areas, like this piece right here from the muzzle. It's very curved. If you have any thick amount of fur on that, it's going to be really difficult to pin and sew that. Because I use machine. Some people hand sew everything. I hand sew for markings that are just not possible to get machine in there. Especially spots. No, I'm not making a tutorial for bodysuits. Only for doing masks. You know you did a good job of cutting. Whenever you pull it away, you still see all those wispies here. You don't see any furs being cut. Now this piece is cut. Sit by the side. This is my unusable fur pile. And see, these pieces are so tiny, you can't even use that for anything. Which is good, because that means that you did a good job using up that fur without wasting. Now for the darts, I do not cut in those little triangles. I actually leave them be. I find it so much easier just pinching the fabric and sewing those darts when they're all together, and then going back and cutting them. Like this one here, this is considered a really large dart, but I'm going to cut in there because I know there are some darts inside of the giant dart, and I cannot sew those if it's a 1B piece. I only have that problem with the chin. It's the only time I run in that situation where it's like essentially double darts because of the curve. I tend to find as you do more fursuit work that you really won't ever have any scraps when you're doing a head, but when you actually start working on doing tails and bodysuits and stuff like that, since the pieces are much larger, you'll actually have like these size pieces left over, and you can use those for other projects. Okay, now my pieces are cut out. The next thing I do is I give them a nice good brushing, because they will have some extra strands of fur on them. I'm going to set these all aside. I'm going to do the black. I'm going to match some of the stuff up. Muzzle, chest, neck. Where's the chin? Chin. Ear, ear. These two go together. These two go together. Two brows. Nose. Two cheeks. Alrighty. This one will have one very large piece being the hood. So I want to do that, the temple and the ears first because those are the largest pieces. Or directions that way. Now for this one, since it's such a big piece, I will use pins to hold it down. And this is where it's very important to use either white or yellow color pencil or a silver marker, because anything else will not work on black fabric. You will not be able to see it. Only exception being a fabric pencil or chalk. But the only problem I find with color pencils and fabric pencils is that, or chalk, is you risk a chance of them rubbing off while you're trying to sew, and then you lose your markings and you can't see anything. I've run into that to more than one occasion. And that is why I switched to Sharpies. Marking. Now this one I have written here, this is where I'm going to have my zipper. So I say 1 extra inch. So I know I'm just going to take my marker here and just draw out an extra inch material to where my dart is. So I have that extra fabric I can use to either make a hidden flap or fold the fabric over for a zipper. I think I'm going to do a hidden flap for this one. And mark here Z for zipper. And this right here is the ear. Okay, I gotta flip this over and do it again. So I know I need an inch of extra fabric. I can't have it right next to my other pattern. You also want to make sure too, when you're dealing with fur fabric, it always tends to have what I call the cutoff edge. For fur, it's about 1 inch of material at the very end of the bolt. You don't want to use that because this tends to either be very thin material or you can see it's kind of raggedy. So make sure you do your patterns that you're not including that seam line there. And again, including that 1 inch of extra material. The ear, full stop, Z for zipper. Okay. And again, when you get the bigger pattern pieces, you'll notice you'll have these larger areas that'll be extra fur. Okay. Temple. There's the last big piece here. It's the ear. Everything else will be tiny pieces. It's actually a lot easier when you do this on the floor because it's a big open space, but for the sake of recording, it's better to do it on the table. Bottom ear. Stop drying out, stupid Sharpie. Only drawback with silver Sharpies is that they don't last very long. Alright, now I got little tiny pieces. Nope. 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 Ah. So work out nicely. Oh. Oh, so much better, new marker. Shoulder. Okay, all I got left now is the inner part of the ear, this little line of black. And since this is such a skinny little piece, I'm actually going to pin this. It's going to try to move around on me. Okay, so now all the pieces are drawn out. I'm going to stop the recording and cut all these pieces out, and my next recording will start when I have all the pieces ready to be sewn together.